7 years ago, I started with a small seed grant at MIT and invented this thing called the liquid metal battery. 3 layers, just as Volta's battery, only they're not solids, they're liquids. Got a liquid metal on the top, molten salt in between, and a liquid metal on the bottom. No separators, no membranes. The metal is insoluble in the salt, and the salt is insoluble in the metal. It's like salad oil and vinegar. Pour some mercury in there, and then you have your 3 layers, if you have any mercury in your house. And the thing stays at temperature by the action of electric current. The current flows, generates heat. In a lithium-ion battery, that's your threat. Here, I take that heat and I capture it, keep the battery at temperature. Charge, discharge, insulation, there it is. It's simple to build. You just shovel the salt and the metal in, seal the can with TIG welding, and away we go. Sounds great, doesn't it? And then in late 2009, I got major funding from the private sector, Total, and from the public sector. This was the new branch of the Department of Energy, ARPA-E. And with these 2 sources of funding, we were able to put together a multinational strike force of students, graduate students, postdocs, visiting scientists, and we were able to make huge progress. And we were able to reduce this to practice in a variety of chemistries. The little cell is 1 amp hour, it's about an inch in diameter. Then there's a hockey puck size, which everybody knows is 3 inches in diameter. And then the saucer size, 200 amp hours, so we could see this thing scale. And then to accelerate commercialization, we established a startup company. Called it Liquid Metal Battery Corporation, which is a mouthful, and eventually we changed the name to Ambri, which is the heart of Cambridge. That's where we invented the battery. And it was a 5-letter pronounceable word for which the domain name was still available. So we established that. We've got 30 people working about 2 miles from here. And now we've got cells that are 16 inches in diameter. A single cell, 1 kilowatt hour. This thing puts out 250 amps for 4 hours. Not milliamps, 250 amps. Really goes. And one of the notional designs has these things stacked into modules and then aggregate the modules into something the size of a 40-foot shipping container. That'll give you 2 megawatt hours, 2 million watt hours. And that's enough energy for about 200 American households. So I call this grid level storage. It's silent. You ever heard a gas-fired peaking unit? Very loud. Emissions free, no pollution, no moving parts. You don't want those pumps and motors and so on. Remotely controlled. This thing can take a signal from the grid, it can be charging, and then all of a sudden gets involved in frequency regulation. It can act as a load, or it can act as a source, or it can act as both at the same time. And it's designed to the price point of today's electricity market. Not asking for subsidies, not asking for special taxes or anything like that. Designed to the price point. So what's left to do? We're still discovering new chemistries at MIT. We thought we discovered a liquid metal battery. We've discovered an entire universe of energy storage. There's nobody working in this area. Liquid metals, molten salts, it's all gone. So we're generating our own people to push the research forward. We've got new chemistries that operate at lower and lower temperatures, some of them down at 250 degrees C. That means you don't need a steel can, you can put them in a polymer can. Much, much lower. 10-year, 15-year lifetime. And then, of course, at the startup company, be ready in about a year's time with a operational prototype. And then we're going to go global. But how did we go global? Well, did I mention these things are frightfully heavy? So you can't steal that 40-foot shipping container. If you tie up a truck to that, try to move it, it won't move. So we're going to have to go global by moving things locally. So who's going to build these batteries everywhere? Partnership with strategic partners. So I hope I've convinced you that there are ways to deal with these thorny issues, and it means thinking very, very differently. It's not taking an existing battery and trying to repurpose it for something very large. Most people have a scale-up problem. For us, it's a scale-down problem.